The San Bernardino massacre is showing that U.S. counterterrorism strategy needs to improve. My next guest says the U.S. has treated terrorism as a law enforcement problem as opposed to a war. The president of the Council of Global Security is back with me now. Katie, thanks for staying with me. So 20 minutes after the attacks in Paris, the French president said, "We are at war." Do we need to make a similar statement?
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't make it long before now. I mean, this is so obvious. And, you know, we continue to treat these acts on American soil like they're isolated cases. We love to throw out the term lone wolf. But no, the enemy has adapted. We're not looking at those grand, centrally planned operations anymore. This enemy has figured out that it's better off working through individuals who don't need that central direction. This is how they're carrying out their war on our soil.
So I want to ask you something. President Obama did speak about the terrorist threat, saying we will overcome it. And some semantics experts that I have spoken with have said he's doing this on purpose to try to minimize where the French president somehow elevated the terrorist cause. What do you make of this war on words?
Yes, I think that's absolutely true. I think President Obama believes that terrorism is a function of U.S. actions in the Middle East, and that now that we have a much less bigger role in the Middle East militarily, that the terrorism will somehow eventually dissipate. But that just couldn't be farther from the truth. And I think it's also interesting that he made this distinction in his speech where he said, so far we don't think that these were centrally directed operations. But it doesn't matter, because this enemy isn't working that way anymore.
Your point is well taken. Unfortunately for all of us, they have evolved in their tactics, as you said. You also noted the Justice Department is shifting its training, focusing more on civil rights than evaluating threats. Listen in.
Here in the U.S., an incredibly disturbing rise in anti-Muslim rhetoric. The fear that you have just mentioned is, in fact, my greatest fear as a prosecutor, as someone who is sworn to the protection of all of the American people, which is that the rhetoric will be accompanied by acts of violence.
In the current environment, the answer cannot be to vilify all American Muslims or to drive them into hiding in this country.
Katie, as a security expert, what is this right mix between security and freedom at this juncture?
Well, you know, it's interesting. George Bush apparently was afraid of the same thing. After 9/11, he was afraid that there would be some great backlash against Muslims. It never happened. It hasn't happened. There isn't any backlash. And so this hyper concern with how Americans are going to react or we're going to turn anti-Muslim, I just think is ill-founded.
Meaning if people want to attack us, they want to attack us no matter what we say. Katie, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much. Katie Gorka with us.